as the equator in a cipher around the planet. Lyrical, lyrical. Hot as the equator in a cipher around the planet. Lyrical, lyrical.
When you see me holla hello, hello I am the gifted. Federal crew they call lyrical opposition. I'm moving without precision. Pivot in my position is pivotal. With the pen I get rid of the competition. Intentional, then again, accidental. The words impact the mental. I'm back to giving the bars.
Welcome to Lyrical Assembly, where we focus on faith, arts, and activism. Check out our next clip from a past event called Paradigm Rhymes.
Silence. Just walking a couple of blocks and all you can see is violence. What are you afraid of? Afraid to speak your mind? Can't think of the rhymes? It's okay, I just need you to speak your heart. You are as valuable as these words. I need you to play your part. What are you afraid of? Dark places and the things that creep at night? Maybe that's because nobody ever told you that you are the light. Fear shows its face when you are confused on who you are, placed in a dark space because you are a star. Just keep on shining, they gonna know who you are. So, what are you afraid of? To be different, to be yourself, afraid you won't fit in between the other books on the shelf? Well, that's because you are worth reading. Fearfully and wonderfully made, he thought that you were worth bleeding for. So what are you afraid of? To let go and let your soul speak, to let your soul weep. The soul reaps everything sown in it, so to speak. You gotta let that muzzle off. What are you afraid of? Let it blast. Stop being that silent soul assassin. Let it pass. Point the crosshairs away from your heart. Give it a chance. Let it beat. Finger on the trigger out of the trance. You gotta fight back. I know you think that joy doesn't last, but neither does depression. You gotta fight back. I know you think that joy doesn't last, but neither does oppression. This time, it will be different. Listen, whatever you're afraid of, I release hope, exchange for breath, releasing the rope, loosen from the enemy's bondage, to battle, to cope, to handle the face, to grapple, to choke. I cancel the curse, every weapon formed against you is broke. So whatever you're afraid of, you can overcome, because the spirit that's inside of you is greater than any evil in this world. Yeah, that was the first piece. Now this next piece, this is normally how I spit, yo. Like, my pieces are short. I try to keep them punchy. This next piece is what I would call like an intro piece, like introducing, like, kind of just for the next artist to come in. It's like just a little 1 minute spitter, and it's called Undivided. Divided, we fall. Desensitized, unable to empathy, vision, removal of purpose, reversal of the initial mission to distract, destroy, and imprison, detained to hold you back, delayed to slow you track your knowledge to send you back to be deprived, robbed and left broken, reduced your value, your morals, and your standards. Like, what are you smoking? Graded. It's always an argument, because your existence debated. The prince of the air deflated. The third of the angels deducted, decaptioned, de-seed for destruction. You see, it was all prefixed. The devil devised division. So what's our mission? Undivided. Lyrical opposition stands united. Hip-hop design, heavenly minded. This is Paradigm Rhymes, and you're all invited. Boomba clap. Let's go. Major fire.
Give it up for because. Yo, snap, snap, snap. A bunch of fire emojis by Raynara. Fire with fire. Gotcha.
That's cool.
Anything to say? Brandon. My co-host Cecil, what's going on? Lacey with the yes. So yeah. Next up, we have Alfluence. Because with that premium unleaded, okay, gas. Yeah, what you got? On the stage.
Okay, all right.
Fitness trainer. That's why. But
Yeah.
Stage, we got Alfluent, fitness trainer from San Francisco, local, born and raised in San Francisco. Diehard Giants, Warriors, Bay Area teams fan. What is it? Man of God.
Just die hard. That's it.
All right, let's go. Go ahead.
Nah, that's Thank you for having me. It's been a while since I performed, so it's good to warm up in this new era, this unseen era where we just do so much digitally now. It's, even our warm ups is digital warm ups, and so it's good. No microphone like the small microphone, I guess. Um, yeah, I used to have a job, you know. Um, Now, kind of just do what you can to get by. Wait for that unemployment, and then help where you can, make an impact where I can. Um, I'm gonna just do one piece because it's warm up. Thank y'all for having me. Let's see. Being in this, being this, being in this shelter in place / quarantine, it's not easy to find a barber. So here I am letting my hair grow. That the good lion's mane. Finally put my mane on, a little bubbled up. I've been a doormat. What they know, I've been a dormant volcano. Probably gonna act up. Take your swag off, cut it open. That's a fresh cut. Just in the game, and I moved upon this is on the board at dawn. You getting money. Your rap's boring though. Your whole style is billboard. Come on, hole in your bubble enough to let me in. Cancerous to your flow, tumor rap. Let's begin. Outfluent. Alex, sick with it. Occupy hip hop. The fan move with it. They surface rappers, and I get it. I still quote 50 with these blessings because I get it. Time for me to eat. Pass the plate over. Also known as fat greedy. You had your chance. Game over. Let me see. Oh man, I lost it. Hold on. Time for me to eat. Pass the plate over, aka fat greedy. Had your chance. Game over. Thanks for the encouragement, y'all. I saw light shine from the house from the old docks. Knew it was to guide me, for me to guide docs. Grumpy, sleepy dwarves and actors who use props. Leaders of the new school, no pogos, but still hop. And we all got a case of the snaps that won't pop. Cause our streets crackle, sun up to sun drop. Can't fight for our troops. The system is in knots. Can't untie the system. We stuck in our own slop. Choosing not to swear, but I do on these blocks. I will fix it for my kin, regardless if y'all stop. Cause I swing a sword bigger than a Glocks, powered by the word of God from on top. Call him the Most High. Also call him my pops. Gave me the blood of Christ, and it won't clot. It boils in the chosen. The body is so hot. Oh, I lost it. All right, I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna end it there. Yeah, thanks for the encouragement. Um, yeah, that's it. Thank you. Happy Friday. Y'all stay safe out here. One of them hosts tap back in. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Let's go.
Thanks for
That was
sharing,
good.
Alex. That was fire.
That was dope. I didn't even know he like went into the poem. He just kind of like was talking, and all of a sudden it just got on the freeway, and I'm like, whoa, oh, we started. He killed it. Am I frozen? Affluent is frozen on my.
Good, you're smooth, man. Thank you, co-host.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. It just looked Affluent is frozen, but now he's good. He's just glitching a lot, but it's all good. So shout out to Affluent, holding it down with the GS colors. I see you. So who is list?
We have
coming up to the stage.
We have Jasmine Orozco. That's up next on the stage.
Jasmine,
we got
What's
Nicole
up, y'all?
Orozco. I add a little accent to it, so forgive me.
No, I appreciate you trying.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta try in these streets. Gotta feel welcome.
That's funny. Well, hopefully my internet connection hopefully it stays well, but This piece here is called Sit Down. So here we go. Girl, aren't you tired? Because you've been running through my mind all day. Is a line, believe it or not, that didn't work. It's funny though, because I do stay running. I do stay striving. I do try to do the most, because doing nothing makes me feel like I'm not living. And not living makes me think that I'm not dreaming. And if I'm not dreaming, then I must not be doing life right. Oh, did I just let you into my mind? I know it's a little chaotic, but is it really though? Or am I saying things that you've thought about before? Am I just your inner voice now becoming an echo to your ears, bouncing off the walls of your ear canals like Pong? You know what they say? That life's a race, but not a marathon. Or that life is a race, but a marathon. You know what they say? That life isn't a race, but a marathon. But don't they both have finish lines? And aren't we all just searching for a finish line? To the next big thing, for a breakthrough moment? Aren't we all just searching to finish something, to say we did it, to say that we are capable, to say that we can focus? We want to design platforms for ourselves, like if we are the architect. We want to make a name for ourselves, like if we invented the alphabet set for us. A table where you don't need to own the best garments because those have been purchased for you. A table where everyone is equal and you have to share a meal, and you share a meal with your enemy too. A table where striving and hustling is put to rest because there's no higher place than the one God has set. So the question remains, if we have already been given a position and a stand, why do we keep striving for what's already there? Why do we keep adopting culture? Is it not set not to be conformed to this age, but be transformed? We don't need to elevate ourselves to make him known. Holy Spirit is our helper, not the other way around. God is good, yes, all the time, and the glory is his no matter the time. But even with all the blessings given to you, because you think you hustled hard, take a seat, sit and eat, pray and rest. God doesn't waste time or play with chance. You already have a position. Trust that you do, talk like you do, act like you do, and take a seat. That's it, y'all.
Take a seat. Everybody take a seat and eat.
Bars.
And make sure we don't
In the chat. But there was a bunch
So
of emojis, a bunch of snap.
yeah.
Take a seat, take a seat, take a seat. She has that sociological, biblical flow. Yes. Whatever that.
Man.
Man.
Shout out to Jasmine holding it down for sure. You know what I'm saying? We taking seats around in these streets. Ooh, see, look at me rhyming. Who's next?
We got Nicole Tracy. We've never seen her perform before, but she's been to all the lyrical highly
From the workshops.
From the East Coast.
Hello. First performance with y'all, very excited. Couple pieces. So who knows fun things about a platypus? I see a couple of smiles. That's awesome.
I know that it exists.
Yeah. Perry, yep. I really cool. And when they were actually first discovered by colonizers, the people they brought them to were like, this isn't a real animal. You just skinned a couple animals and sewed them together. Like, bring us one alive. I think that these were actual animals. So that's kind of where this poem is inspired by. To the platypus. I know what it's like to be looked at with confusion, to be something in between two things and told you are not enough of either. Ducks call you a beaver, beavers will always call you a duck, and neither of them wants you to be both. Both want to put the other part of you on trial and see which part of you they will still call innocent. I know the ache of wishing you could turn your fur to feathers, wishing you could make your tail shrink. I know we share the same ache of wanting to be just one thing, just so we don't get asked the same question over and over again. I know how it feels to lose your voice when we get asked to pick one. I know you want your identity to be easy for other people to take in too. How many ducks called you a beaver before you corrected them? How many jokes did you make at the expense of your own identity because it made it easier to be around someone else? I know some days you feel more duck than beaver, and other days you forget ducks even exist. But most days, you wish you could swing your tail and knock out anyone who says you're only a duck and peck away anyone who says you're only a beaver. Have you ever forgotten what a quack sounds like? Forgotten what your own voice sounds like surrounded by noise meant to do just that? Well, guess what, platypus? Don't forget about your venom. Don't settle for being a beaver when you're so much greater than being equal to just one of them.
Whoa.
Thank you. And I do have a second piece. I wanted to do something for my 30/30 because it's National Poetry Month. And another fun fact, this is actually the second poem a day challenge I've done in the last year. So this one has definitely been more challenging because I'm like, I want to write longer things rather than just like smaller Instagram posts. And this one was actually kind of inspired by a comment my partner said. So I wanted to give him a shout out because I love him. He's cute sometimes. Small studio apartment so he can hear everything that I'm saying.
Awesome.
Turn off the news, step away from trending hashtags, tune out the mania, the depression. Remember yourself before the world makes you forget you. A library card gave me the best journey, all for minor late fees. A future, a parallel worlds, but so much better than here. I exist, turning fiction into nonfiction, imagination turning me into any character I wanted, inserting myself as a new character, rows and rows of books where I could finally see myself. Authors who never know me but shaped who I was, turned me into someone not afraid to pick up a pen for myself, give me the power to create a reflection to fall into, create a world where my fears didn't scare me, create a world where I knew who I was. Who would I be without my imagination to create me, a voice to guide me, a pen and paper to remember me?
Oh, yo. If I had like the DJ noise, man, it'd be going off right now. So somebody said in the comments, Andrea would love to collab on a children's book. So I encourage both of you to do that. I think that'll be dope. You know what I'm saying? Some visuals can happen. I'm sure Cross or myself can also pitch in with the visuals, but get the children book popping. But shout out to Nicole. Just that first poem was amazing. It got deep really fast. really fast. But it was good. The layers, so layered, so layered. So that was amazing. That was amazing. You said you're in the East Coast, right?
Yes, I am on the East Coast now.
Okay. All right. How is it out there right now?
So I'm in Buffalo. It's actually been kind of interesting. So I moved out in the middle of March. So like right when the pandemic kind of started.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, I'm so sad I'm not here for winter. I love snow. I miss it. Because I was living in the Bay Area before that for about a year and a half. And the last week it has snowed pretty much on and off every day. Yeah, and so I'm just like, it's snowing. It doesn't really stick to the ground much, but watch the snowfall.
Man, it's burning up out here. It's like 90-some degrees. So
I think it's warm for here. It's probably like 50 degrees.
Oh man, Benny said Buffalo is the best Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't even know if you're serious or what, but shout out to you. Thank you. You said what?
I'm so serious. Buffalo has the best buffalo wings, hand down. Real talk. And pizza.
Hey,
Buffalo go crazy.
I guess so. Got to get it where they came from, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nicole for sure. But yes, Visual Prophets would be great designers to orchestrate that for sure. So that children's book that's on the horizon, I'll be looking forward to it for personally, especially give it to my son as well. Aww. All right, who is up on deck? Who we got? Who we really got?
We have 3 poets left, including yourself, Cecil.
Oh, God.
Up next, we got Lacey Nguyen from Seattle, Washington.
Lacey.
Whitworth University alumni.
Hey.
What?
Whitworth University alumni.
Okay, I'm still got like 3 online classes. I wish I was alumni.
Hey, school got canceled though, but okay. Yeah.
School's out. Turn up.
It feels like it. There's no turning up here. Nope.
A fun
No,
fact
sir.
about
Hey, shout out to Lacey. She was like kind of like my little test dummy sometimes throughout the weeks, so I appreciate her.
Yeah, he got me for no reason.
I don't know. It was like you're just there on my screen, so I was like, oh, there's one. There it is.
No,
So shout out to her. She was in the workshop, so go for it.
Before she performs, a fun fact, she was studying abroad in Costa Rica, and then because of the pandemic, she had a performance.
So I wrote this poem about quarantine because that's the only thing that be happening in my life nowadays, you know. And I hope a lot of you guys can relate. As a homebody, quarantine didn't feel so bad at first. I finally had an excuse to stay in my room and watch an endless amount of YouTube. Finally catch up on my Netflix shows, and yes, I even downloaded TikTok. I no longer had plans that I dreaded attending or days where I felt socially burnt out. And I never had to feel bad for staying inside because staying inside meant saving lives, right? But now I realize that physical quarantine is one thing, but there's also quarantine of the mind. I am physically safe, tucked away in the comfort of my own home, but my mind is another story. In my mind, there is no living room where the family gathers or backyard patio where the sun shines. There is only darkness. There are no windows or curtains that I can open. And every time I run my hands along the walls to try and find a light switch, it's never there. In my mind, there are no conversations shared over dinner or laughs that echo throughout the house. There is only silence. When I speak, my words bounce across the walls and return back to me, reminding me that I am alone. In my mind, there are no shiny mahogany floors, only cracked cement ground with pieces of broken dreams and half-written poems scattered everywhere. There is no sense of home. I am a stranger, renting out a space that belongs to my landlord's depression and anxiety. In my mind, it doesn't feel safe. I know physically quarantine is saving lives, but inside, it makes me feel like I'm losing mine.
You. I appreciate you. That was dope. That was really good. My phone was actually freezing a little bit. My phone was freezing a little bit, but I heard most of it. So
That was so deep.
Appreciate
So good.
like your pauses are like just I gotta reflect on life, bro. Like it's so melancholy. Like you just kind of soak into this moment, and so your poems are that was very reflective. It felt like, and I definitely appreciate that. So hopefully you're still doing well in school and not ditching. I don't know how you can ditch during this situation, but you know, we'll see. Random question though for you: what is your next steps with your poetry? I know the workshops are done, and all that stuff is, you know, signed, sealed, and delivered. So what's your dream or what's your goal with your writing right now?
Well, once school is out, I want to keep writing more. Like today when you're talking about marketing and stuff, I had a lot of ideas. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a gift that God has given me, but it's like, I feel like I'm like Jonah, you feel me? Like I be running
Yeah.
away because writing is so vulnerable, you know? Like we talk about all the time. So I'm like now that school's over, I think I definitely want to like work on it. And with like Miss Rona, I think probably social media is what is the way to go. But my plan was to move to the Bay Area and work with First Pres Hayward, but with Miss Rona, there's a lot. So probably just social media stuff.
Dang, Miss Rona. Miss Rona need a man.
Know.
So so appreciate you, and hopefully we can see more of you, especially with all the content and opportunities now that's on horizon, and what everybody's able to do with this little situation. So it's a great opportunity to do what you do. All right, Cross, who's up? Who's next on deck?
We got Gark Mavigan coming up next from Stockton, California. He has an organization called Gark Squad, and he has a newborn on the way.
Hey, newborn to the gang, newborn to the Gark gang.
What's happening?
Yo.
Lovely to be here. Shout out to the whole 209, Stockton, Nutty Northside. Shout out to Tamferan, all that. I call this Nutri-Grain. Going to start off with some warm-up bars. This piece is called Government, and this will hopefully resonate with all the folks who have ever had an EBT card in their life or presently have one. No food in the house, no money in the bank, only got 1/4 in the tank. But on the 1st and 15th, we're getting that government. That what? That government. Got no idea how the rent's getting paid and the landlord's up in my face. But on the 1st and 15th, we're getting that government. That GOV''T. Looking back, it was tough finding grub. Almost joined the gang so I could have something to throw up. Had vested interest and found the food to ingest. Cursing in class, hard to stay focused. But on the 1st, I felt a burst. And on the 15th, I was feeling pristine. Came alive like Christine, you listening? Could have painted a cysteine with Listerine. Hold up, that GOVERNMENT is precisely what I need right now. We're at food for less on the prowl. Can't you hear my stomach growl, grr? Hungry man's on sale, word? 5-0 that chicken, we're copping that. This ain't an autopsy, but we're popping tags. No charge for bags, cause we're EBTing. My shopping list looking like Liam Neeson's filmography, or Lil B's discography, or Ansel Adams' photography. Portfolio on a sugar high, feeling like a mighty morph into the great cornholio. Do-see, do-win with the grocery clerk as I watch that rotisserie turn. You can probably discern that we're hungry out here. You cannot smoke and still have the munchies out here. 6 packs on 6 packs on 6 packs, like we're doing crunchies out here. Forget a landlord, I'm a land guy, and this rocky road looking like an edible landslide. Hamburger helper got my smoke cause the pan fried. No food in the house, no money in the bank, only got 1/4 in the tank. But on the 1st and 15th, we're getting that government. That what? That government. Got no idea how the rent's getting paid and the landlord's up in my face. But on the 1st and 15th, we're getting that government. That GOV''T.
Man.
And then I got one more. This is just a piece about geometry.
Oh shoot, I failed geometry.
It's all good. All right. I'm sorry, skinny girls, but this skinny dude prefers honeys with curves like Winnie the Pooh's tummy. It's true. Hormonal shovel wasn't really digging that flat line body type. My girl's gotta have a pulse. I need a girl with curves like the petals on a daffodil. And if you would take a flat girl over a so-called fat girl, then perhaps you still think the world is flat still. I mean, I can't handle a girl who's skin and bone. I'm more interested in your skin tone. what time your mom gets home, whether or not you've been cloned, and if you enjoy Thoreau and Emerson's transcendentalist poems. And of course, if you've got curves like mathematical parabolas, curves like incorrect answers on polygraph exams, curves like, man, curves like, damn, I got to have you next to me because you are very extra sexy. That's an acronym. I mean, can you imagine a world without curves? You ever wonder why people ride the curviest roller coasters? Because if they were flat, it'd be like riding a train. And can you imagine how uncurvingly unnerving it would be to figure skate a figure eight super straight? It'd be ridiculous. When I write, I refuse to use brackets. I prefer the curve of parentheses, and the earth doesn't revolve around the sun in a square. It revolves elliptically. So I guess I'm not too out of this world to say that we're all a little topsy curvy. But I didn't write this for the world. I wrote this for you. I wrote this for you because every time I see you look in the mirror and frown, you can't hear it, but inside my soul is screaming. Because I know you're just the latest victim of the United States of America, where your reflection alters your perception of the truth, miss. And the truth is you have the body shape of an angel. So you take those chicken wings and fly away. Use those onion rings as halos. Your thighs got that recipe the KFC hasn't even discovered yet. You got lethal weapons like Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. And did I mention it's 2020 and you got me seeing the 2020 vision? So listen, I know you see yourself as a 5, maybe even a 3 or a 4, but I will always see you as a 10 because I grade you on a curve.
What? What? I have nothing to say. Like, the curve is flat because of you, girl. Like, dang. I understand geometry now, bro.
The curve is flat because I'm staying home.
Mind blown, bro. Mind blown.
Oh, man. Close the show out.
Run that back, man.
Chat room is going off right now. Sheesh. And Lacey's going crazy.
Gark,
Bro, that was
Gark
so
is-
good. That was so good. Because first I was like, and then I was like, this is so beautiful.
Jeez. The plot twist.
It was really good. That was amazing.
Like, I got the concept of what he was saying, but the level, like, I feel like I was walking down the stairs, like it was that leveled out, and I really felt like I passed geometry. Like, that was amazing, bro. Like, bro, what?
Appreciate
Flap
it.
your wings, y'all. He said, flap your wings. Jeez, that concept is crazy. I was not expecting that. I have no lie. I was not expecting that. I don't know where you was going with that, but man, sheesh.
We need a book.
Louise. That's, man, you got your own marketing scheme right there. Hashtag flatten the curve and put like your woman up there. Oh man. All right. Shout out to Garth. Go ahead.
A quick, another unfunny fun fact, but it's true. Me and 2 other people and Garth Madigan went to the National Poetry Slam, competed in a National Poetry Slam, and got 79th out of 80. So we're 79th place. We were almost last place, and we performed the curve piece, and I think that's how we didn't get last place, because it was
talking about curves.
And so another one. So
Well, we appreciate we appreciate the curves. So shout out to Garth for that. That was fire. That was really good. Who was next on the docket?
It's you. Lacey and Garth co-headlined. unofficially.
Oh snap! Hey,
Close out with up to you. We didn't know Garth could
closing out.
kill it that well.
All right.
Kill it that bad. So if you feel uncomfortable performing after Garth, we can just close the event here.
I really do, but I mean, for the sake of, I did do the workshop, so I will go. So I'll do a couple pieces, you know, one time. This first piece is called No Savior. Well, first off, like, you know, I'm from the LA area. Been doing spoken word for over 8 years, and been able to, you know, do different things with that. And yeah, so No Savior is literally about what would life be like without a savior. So here we go. I wonder what life would be like without a savior. I wonder how we would brave the harsh world, lies riding on the lips of the clergy as we splurge in our own satisfaction. I wonder if Jesus never died for us, how would we survive? Would we keep tally marks of all of our pious acts, looking around for somebody else to keep the score? But if that's the case, who do we cry out to in dark times? And what light can we see piercing through that dismal being that lives within us? What if there was no roadmap? 66 books, one author with one message. Or does it become 66 messages from 40 confused men writing existential questions of questioning existence, still lost in the wilderness, listening to no voice but their own? Since no one cries, prepare ye for the way of the Lord, no one gets ready for his imminence to appear. Faith turns to fear. Order turns to anarchy, and congratulations, we turn back on ourselves. So our natural conclusion is that we turn to hell. So we are the ones spitting fire and brimstones from our bellies to our loved ones. We are the ones that choose to make sad slaves in this delusion that we live in. So tell me, if God is love, how can we love if he is nothing? How can we forgive if there's no model? How can we live if there's no life giver? Love, life, and forgiveness breaks down as it's impossible to keep relationships. Love is not found in lust, and lust is found in between your hips, and now babies are born to mothers who are there in body, but never there in spirit, or fathers who are there in spirit, but never there in body, never nailing down the perfect combination because the one who could do it never did it. Since he was never 100% God and 100% man, we can never accurately give 100% to our loved ones. Who would teach us how to sacrifice ourselves? We will believe that we need to depend on us to make us breathe. Our psyches come crashing down on us when we actually hated what we become. We end up fighting and competing with others instead of fighting the demons that take residence within us. But fortunately for us, God loves us so much that he sent his son so we can have a model to follow. And as we live within us, we breathe a sweet smelling spirit. So no longer we have to starve from not chewing on the meat of his word because we're too busy trying to have beef with him. So indulge in his good works until the end of days, so you can finally know his sufficient grace. And no one will have to ask how tomorrow will end when they live a life with no savior. That's the first piece. That's the first piece. So shameless like plug. I released the video this past Thursday. It's called What If. It's a brand new poem that I did. My first visual actually to my pieces, in which I'm going that route. And so feel free to check it out. It's on YouTube. My name is Cecil Williams on YouTube. Subscribe because there's a lot more coming. But you can go on my Instagram, on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, and the full-length featured film is on there. And it's been doing great, better than I expected. It's been able to be streamed in multiple locations, different states. I've, done, and I'm saying this not to pump myself up. I'm saying this as encouragement to you guys and kind of like a workshop mentality here that I'm still in. Allowing yourself to be marketable and do stuff that's relatable. That video has gotten a couple interviews out of it. And so just be encouraged the fact that whatever you create has potential to spread and spread quickly. Control, as long as you don't try to control it and get out of your own way, you'll be amazed at what happens. So this last piece, is more of a hip hop feel. This one has a lot more rhymes, and it's funny because I've talked about shisha. It's funny because I talked about make sure you don't rhyme as much in your poems, but this one has rhymes. This one has more to it, if you will. So you'll get it. It's more of a get to know me piece. And yeah, let's get into it. It really doesn't have a title. So yeah. This is the part where the bars will be minimal. Excludes the rhythm, but the flow is still smooth like Danimals. And I see his glory all around me, man. I'm just that radical. I'm a poet that sometimes rap, but I guess I still eat certain beats and bars like I'm a cannibal. See, I'm from the land of art and visionaries, where my eyes become cameras and sounds become my soundtrack. While I may get blitzed by torment, I still run through gaps that was created from me. I'm a natural running back. I'm artistically schizophrenic, so who knows when I'm about to snap. I'm fighting for the people who think their minds is handicapped, protecting the ones who can't take the blows because they ain't got no creative chin strap. See, I'm not your average poet. Mixing a couple of bars with a chunk of analogies with soliloquies, metaphors with similes. I got so much juice I can coach my nouns and make them turn pro, but yet, who cares if you got juice if you have no living water? See, this is what happens when you mess with a creative, sit from the creator. Articulate bars sit from the shepherd to his flock. My words will always eat you like tons of bricks. I guess I never needed a writer's block. My cross can break your demons and your ankles. So good it makes you want to stop becoming a jump off. Jump off the wild road until the narrow one where the winning team is. I guess I'm the one that's deep in the playoffs. So I'm the trailblazer that's trying to spur the way. I got the spirit of a warrior, and I got the whole league shook. God told me to stay in the West so I could stay close to my brook, but I'm no Elijah, though. God gave me my own identity. I can step on any mic and be confident somebody will be feeling me. Why? I'm convicted by his love, so I spread love like dollar bills while being stripped away from his doubt. I'll call that a 2-for-1 steal. My story doesn't rank on any totem pole. Even my testimony will give the devil chills. Humility. Humility mixed with his sovereignty. I'll call that the secret remedy. The Bible says resist the devil and he will flee. While we may have tendencies, I refuse to remain captive because I always remain to be set free. But my God, pay no attention to what's going on and so much focus on what's happening within the hour. Let your faith be the bullet, but your obedience will always be the gunpowder. That's it. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you guys. Again, I'm gonna let Cross close out officially, but thank you guys so much for, coming in and showing what you got. Figo, I didn't even know you was in here. Appreciate you guys and the engagement is crazy. Again, follow each other, connect with each other, keep building, keep writing, keep sharpening your tools, keep networking. Do not be scared of failing. That's the biggest thing. Do not be scared of failing. Do not be scared of writing or taking the big risk in your art and create the content. A lot of times we're all waiting on you to create the content. So it's not like people are going to do it for you. If you feel like, hey, you don't have the budget, teach yourself. I'm self-taught in everything that I've done when it comes to video editing, graphics, the visuals, everything. I taught myself the way I don't have to rely on a whole bunch of people, especially if you don't have the budget right now. So definitely appreciate you. Again, follow me personally, C Portrait on Instagram, our group, our organization, the Craft Factory, the Craft.Factory on Instagram. thecraftfactory.org is our website. My personal website is cecilhavey.com, and I'm open to connect anytime. So Cross, it's on you, man.
Yeah, thank you everybody for attending. This was our first one ever. I want to give a special shout out to the artists, Because, Al Fluent, Jasmine Orozco, Nicole Tracy, Gark Madigan, Lacey Nguyen, and Cecil Williams. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for
Yes.
the number. Yeah. So up next is we're taking a week off, but anybody that wants to perform at the next one, we do Lyrical Academy workshops. This past month it was National Poetry Month, so we did a special one on poetry and with the Craft Factory and Cecil Williams. So next month we'll be doing poetry again. And if you want to sign up for that, just pay attention to Lyrical Opposition social medias, or we can just email you with the email with math email blast. And yeah, we'll have another Paradigm Rhymes next month as well, so be on the lookout for that. But this has been a Lyrical Opposition and Craft Factory production.
And so with that, I think that right now is a good time than any, right? I just want to put out some things, little housekeeping. I got another project. I just released last a gospel album, but it is a gospel nonetheless. Like I said, it's Let's Get a Gospel. It's available on all platforms. But on the other end, I got another project coming out on the 25th on Christmas, right? It's a collaborative project this time around. So Let's Get a Gospel. I did all the production, had a King on the beat. He helped a couple tracks, right? But this one is production like mainly by someone else, and I only help produce, like, co-produce 2 tracks, right? So I'm rapping. It's that lyricism. I'm talking about real lyricalness. If you're looking for some lyricals for the holidays, I definitely put some lyrics on this project. So, be on the lookout. It's called Symbiosis, right? It has to definitely do with the symbiotes. If anybody's a geek out there and knows about Spider-Man and Venom, right? Well, guess what? This is what happened. On the 25th, we have a single coming out.
I know what socks to
on
get you for Christmas.
Friday. We got a single coming out. So, just be on the lookout for that. But this is Lyrical Ones Podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're live on Twitch. We try to make sure we're every Wednesday. We're working on our timing. Next week we will be going live at 9. We do have a special guest who will be there.
PST.
Yes, Pacific Standard Time, West, y'all. But for those of y'all that are looking forward to that, please come through. It'll be another engaging and inspiring conversation, like always. But during this holiday season, everyone be safe, be thoughtful, be mindful. If you're not loving someone, make sure first and foremost you're loving yourself, and be well to yourself, be good to yourself. Affluence, any final words?
And if nobody told you today or this week that you are loved, Lyrical Ones loves you, and you could always come here for the love. Check out our Discord for more community, more interaction, more engagement, and I'm good. We almost at the year end. We be back next week though, so that's tight. Wrapping up the year yet, but as the year comes down, start to think about reflection and vision. Keep hoping, keep envisioning something better, something more. Sometimes even something less for self. Look at things we need to let go of, so that we can, receive more. That's all for me.
Hi, welcome back to our Reads for Resistance recap. This is recapping chapter 4, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, chapter 4. Yeah. Lacey, what are some thoughts that you had or something that stood out to you from either your reading or from the group this past week?
Yeah. So I really enjoyed chapter 4 of Decolonizing Evangelicalism. I think my favorite part was when Dr. Woodley spoke on the American dream and how his idea of the American dream is different than what the narrative of our country has pushed onto people. So he was talking a lot about how the American dream like pushes this idea of individual excellence at the expense of the community. And he talks about how like it's rooted in genocide and colonialism, and this idea that in order for me to make it, I have to push down on others or even he even writes like kill others, which I think is super true and prevalent in what we see in history, especially like when you think about this narrative of our founding fathers coming to a new land and like building a new country. In exchange for building a new country, like they killed millions of Native Americans. They enslaved like millions of people and descendants from West Africa and different other parts of Africa. So, and then in contrast to that, Dr. Willie talked about how his version of the American dream is one rooted in Native American worldview, and one where there's actually shalom and there was peace between creator and creation and people living on earth. And he was like, this American dream is actually the one I hear that indigenous elders talk about before the arrival of Columbus and before the creation of the United States of America as we know it today. So I just think like it was really cool to put that spin on an American worldview that was rooted in indigenous ideology and indigenous thought, and being like, actually, you know, like the America we know was never this ideal country we had. It was actually better before, and it should have been left untouched. So I really appreciated that from him. Ashley, what were your thoughts?
Question for you first. What does shalom mean to you, and in the context Dr. Woodley is using it?
Oh yeah.
They differ.
Yeah. Shalom to me. Well, I'll start with Dr. Woodley because I feel like my definition of shalom comes from him, just because I had a hard time understanding it before I started learning from him. And I think shalom is this idea of, at least from what I've learned from him, is this idea of balance between balance and peace between individuals, between me and God, between me and creation, and between creation and God. So it's kind of like this web of balance and peace and harmony that is found within all different relationships between humans, creator, and creation. And I always think back to how Dr. Willie talks about how like we know how well we've done shalom when we look at how well the most marginalized in our society are treated. Because true shalom means that the most marginalized are cared for. So that's kind of what shalom means to me.
Okay, thanks for providing that kind of definition so that we can all be on one page.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you said what stood out to me. I think also the American dream thing was so profound because two things. One, as Black American in America, we are taught like you should want the American dream, and then there's so many boundaries and obstacles to get to that, right? So it's kind of like this false narrative that we can achieve the American dream in the steps that they give us, right? Because people can prosper, but it's mostly like exceptionalism, especially if you're from like a minority community. But people do have hard work, and they do, you know, are able to live at a livable wage. All those things are valid and they do happen. But in general, it's not like you're a good person, you went to school, you got a job, now you're fine. Like, no, like literally the student loan crisis is wild right now. Housing is wild right now. We don't even see equitable vaccine roll. We don't see equitable treatment in coronavirus. Like, it's wild. And again, going back to marginalized people are being affected by like the worst of these systems and the things that are happening right now. More Black people are dying because of COVID. They're also mostly the essential workers that can't like stay at home. It's a privilege to be able to stay at home. And people not being able to pay their rent and all of those eviction or basically the eviction orders aren't being enforced right now as much because it's December and it stops in January. So imagine across the United States, it's cold, it's winter, and now everyone's getting evicted. So it's just like, I cannot be like, oh, the American dream for me. Yes. So I appreciated the opportunity to redefine the American dream. And it feels, instead of like what he said, that like there's this intense competition, it's not an intense competition. Like one of my cousins, she says, you are supposed to have so you're not supposed to have a scarcity mindset. You're supposed to have I can't remember exactly what word she did, but I think it's like an abundance mindset. Yeah, so it doesn't matter that we all can get homes. If you get a home, I can't get a home, right? That's a scarcity. There's only an infinite amount of homes, and I need to be the person that gets it. And you're caring for like the collective, which we also talked about on Saturday. Like what you said, Lacey, like the emphasis on individualism has made your lane really narrow, right? Because you're just trying to worry about what you're doing, how your family's gonna be, what are you creating, and it's not really caring about either the people like you possibly could step on to get where you want to go, or even the people you can pull up. So I think someone reminded me of the kind of way that we should have relationships. So you have like someone who you look up to, then you have your peers, and then you have someone who you're helping. And I think if we all had like a fundamental desire for that in our relationships, we probably would be able to create more shalom in just like our daily life and our daily decisions. I think sometimes we think of these ideas and we're like, shalom, balance, like that's intense, right? And then we don't have like practical ways to think of it. Yeah. And then also, I really appreciated the emphasis on like land and how land is sacred and how even creation is sacred. I think we always talk about how like, oh, don't litter or be more eco-friendly, right? And we don't really talk about like the importance and sacredness of land. Like this was created for this purpose, and even animals, like animals are sacred too because they're also made in God's image. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Like that was a little bit hard for me to grasp. But if you think about it, we are all created. And there has to be a sense of reverence for all of the things. What did you get from the theology of place or land?
Yeah, I was gonna tie that concept of land back into this concept of shalom. So one thing I really appreciate that Dr. Woodley said in his book or in this chapter is that he said land helps keep us grounded and it makes our theology real. And I never thought about that, how caring for the land that I'm on, whether that's, tending to the garden or making sure that our resources are not being exploited, how that is an act of living theology. And I really thought that was profound because something I'm reflecting on is like we can literally sit and talk about shalom all we want and theorize, which I think is necessary. But when you really do practice shalom in real life, it's like not that simple. You quickly see like it's super messy because people are messy. But it's still like something that is real and should be kept real and shouldn't be something that you just theorize, especially, being a Western being brought up in Western thought, we have tendency to just like theorize all the time. So I really love this idea that caring for the land helps keep us grounded, and it helps make our theology real, and it makes it feel like it's heaven coming down to earth in a way.
Mm-hmm. I think you reminded me of something when you were talking of our last book of Niebuhr, and how James H. Cone was like so perplexed that he had these grand ideas of the incarnation of Christ, but there was such separation of the incarnation of Christ, the suffering that Jesus went through, and the suffering that he saw his fellow Black Americans going through. And I think it goes back to not having a groundedness to him. So his was like just very westernized and very full of theology and like what is a formula or a mechanism to understand how we think and theologize our context and all this other stuff. And it's like, bruh, you literally missed an opportunity to bring shalom to your brothers and sisters, right? Like people are reaching out to you and you're just like, no, don't want to put my name in that basket, right? I think so, and that we kind of, in Western thought, we're taught to have answers for stuff. We're taught to have solutions. We're taught a way to think about stuff. So it's like, if it doesn't fit into this nice little box, then we don't really want to be a part of it. And that's not how humans are. It's perfect. Everything's messy. That's why we need God. Like, if we're trying to do it all in our own strength, then that's not providing space for God to be God either. So it's like, you really can't have both. Like, when you learn more about the way things are, you can't really like sign up for a false shalom or like a false love. Like, it's not sufficient if you're not thinking about like, how can I stand in the gap physically? Like, I think we say that a lot, like, how can I stand in the gap? And it's like, physically, you literally need to be there, bro. Like, you can't just be like, and I think with like, this year has been tumultuous for America, to say the least, but we even seen like so many protests happening, and then you see like sometimes, or a couple of times, you see like white allies stand in between Black and brown or people of color who are protesting, and literally the cops don't mess with them. Like, that's literally standing in the gap. And I think it is messy. You have to put your own comfortability up. Like, you have to give that up. But Jesus also said, give up or take up his cross. Like, the cross is not like a nice spinny chair, you know, like, it's not a comfortable position. And I think in America, Christianity is like our default religion, which pisses me off, because it's like, either Jesus was Jesus or he was a lunatic, right? Like, either he was the Son of God or he is the Son of God. He is the miracle worker. He is the way. He's all of these things. Or he was just like this teacher who was just on one, right? And like, because I feel like the way our Christianity is set up as a whole, so like big C in America, the church, is like, he was just, you know, he was in the middle of that. And it's like, nah, bro, like, there's no middle. Like, either he is who he said he is, or he's a weirdo, and y'all are like, I mean, he cool, I guess. Like, there's no he cool, I guess, with Jesus. Like, yeah, I don't know. This is how I feel at this moment, like right now, because I feel like it pisses me off so much when I see like people evoke Jesus's name, and it's like, bruh, what are you talking about? Your life is like opposite of that, and you're like, I'm a Christian. Just very upsetting.
Yes, I agree. I really agree with the comfortability part you said. Like, real shalom, real walking with Jesus is so uncomfortable. Like you gotta be in so many awkward situations, and like not in like a God spoke to me and I spoke the gospel to someone. It's more like the simple mundane things like oh, I've had to work with this community that I'm not used to, and I felt really awkward, but I tried to get through it because that's what Jesus would do. That's probably how he felt talking to Samaritan woman as a Jewish person, you know,
Yeah.
or touching lepers who no one else wants.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think there needs to be like more critical thought of just like, what did Jesus do? Like literally, what did he do? Like, what did he do? Because I think sometimes we're like, oh, let's think about what he said, and like let's do the Greek and the Hebrew translation of what this means. And then even
You're
with
right.
this book, we're like, who are the gatekeepers who wrote these things, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
if I can get an idea, and I love that the gospel, like when I was younger, I was like, Mom, like, why does it say the same thing in like 4 books? Like, this is so weird to me. But now it makes me so happy because you get to see like different sides of Jesus and different perspectives, but it's all the same thing. So you can see like he always was healing. He always was standing in the gap. He always was being humble, but also confident. Like he was not, or he wasn't worried about fitting into boxes. Like he use that freedom to not be in boxes to be able to shine through of like, I am God. Like, look, y'all. So yeah.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Yeah, so I think with that can go ahead and wrap up our recap. Sorry if you hear a dog barking in the background. That's my dog that I live with. This is real life, y'all. We're not, we're in our houses here talking about God, and sometimes our dogs be barking in the background. Yes. Thanks so much, y'all, for listening and tuning in. Thanks, Ashley, for your thoughts. And we will see you guys this Saturday at 9 a.m. for the Read for Resistance book club. We're doing a concluding remarks chapter, so we're reading the last concluding remarks chapter. And then the following Saturday, December 19th at 7 p.m., we're doing an event with Native and Indigenous voices. We're doing kind of a listening session thing to cap off our book club series reading this book. So all of that information will be posted in our Instagram page at lyricalassembly.com or at Lyrical Assembly. And you can also check us out on our broadcast as well. So with that being said, thank you so much. And
thank you.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for coming through. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you got something. If you want to stay connected with us, go over to our Discord channel and our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook next week.
Side is the equator in a cipher around the Side is the equator in a cipher around the planet. Lyrical.
When you see me holla hello, I am the gifted fellow out of the crew they call lyrical opposition. I'm moving without precision, pivot in my position is pivotal. With the pen I get rid of the competition, intentional, then again accidental. The words impact the mental.